Coming up on Cronkite News, Maricopa County works to secure elections, and we bring you the details.
Plus, how a new state law gives cities and towns tools to fight against party houses, and who will be affected next.
And later on Break It Down, we examine how companies use social issues in advertising.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Lauren Green.
And I'm Kyle Betts. Thank you for joining us. The primary race for Arizona's governor is heating up, and former President Trump and former Vice President Pence are on different sides of the race. Trump, who has endorsed candidate for Governor Kari Lake in the primary race, will appear with her tonight at 7 p.m. His endorsement came in September of last year, praising her stance against COVID lockdowns, cancel culture, and woke school curriculum. But not everyone is joining Trump in Prescott. Pence, who is also in Arizona, but he's in Peoria. He appeared with Governor Doug Ducey to support his endorsement of Karen Taylor Robeson for governor. In Pence's endorsement, he called Robeson the only candidate that would keep Arizona borders secure and streets safe. Pence is also scheduled to go to Tucson with Ducey to get briefed on the border.
Early voting is already underway here in Arizona, but there's still some anxiety across the state and the country regarding election security. And Maricopa County officials say they're working to combat misinformation and voter intimidation. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Department, in partnership with the Maricopa County Recorder's Office, says they're taking proactive steps to make sure our upcoming elections are conducted in a safe and professional manner. Sheriff Paul Pinzone says he and his officers find themselves in an unfamiliar position, but stand ready to face the challenge.
We are just being more robust in this election to ensure that there are plainclothes deputies who will be surveying areas that are polling sites. We have certain employees that are dedicated solely for monitoring the polls, and then we're going to have folks that are going to be working on those days that are going to be uniformed deputies that'll get some training and education also.
Sheriff Pinzone stressed the importance of working with other county agencies to make sure his officers are trained in how to de-escalate a situation while at the same time making sure civil rights aren't violated.
COVID cases are rising nationally, and Los Angeles and Maricopa counties are both seeing a large increase in cases. Cronkite News reporter Madison Thomas learned how the two different counties are handling it.
President Joe Biden is one of the latest people to test positive for COVID-19, and he is not alone. According to the CDC, the number of cases in the U.S. have been increasing.
What CDC recommends when you hit that high community level is to wear a mask when you're indoors. So that's anywhere except where you live at home.
Dr. Sonnenschein says nothing is required in Maricopa County.
There is legislation that restricts local and county health departments from requiring masks.
LA County is handling the situation differently. If they remain in high community level through July 28th, universal indoor masking will be immediately implemented on July 29th.
We are not closing anything down. We are not asking people not to gather with the people they love. We are not asking you to forego activities you love. We're asking you to take a sensible step when there's this much transmission with a highly transmissible variant to go ahead and put back on a well-fitting, high filtration mask.
Dr. Sonnenschein says numbers in public health are always underrepresented, so they focus on trends, and the trending upward of cases could be from the BA4 and BA5 subvariants. One thing that has made tracking the number of cases not just harder here in California and in Arizona, but all over, is the use of at-home test kits like this one. While they make testing easier and faster, positive test results are not always reported.
Know that in order for a case to be reported to public health, it actually has to go through a laboratory. So we're probably not getting a lot of cases reported to us from those at-home antigen tests.
The BA4 and BA5 subvariants also appear to have the ability to evade prior immunity. In Los Angeles, Madison Thomas, Cronkite News.
Dr. Sonnenschein says it is important for people to continue to get vaccinated and receive their booster vaccines.
New photos from NASA deliver a stark visual of the drastic water loss in Lake Mead. NASA's new satellite images show the water loss from Lake Mead over the past 22 years. As of mid-July, the lake is just under 30% capacity. The low water levels could mean a potential loss of hydropower from the Hoover Dam. The water elevation at the dam must remain above 1,000 feet, and according to NASA, we're just 41 feet away from dipping below that requirement. The heat wave is still hitting the country hard. Samir Mala is in the Weather Center to explain how this will impact us here in Arizona.
Thank you, Lauren. As we take a look at the weather this upcoming 3 days, we're going to see some scattered thunderstorms develop in and around the Tucson area, some severe with a chance of hail at around Saturday at around 6:30 p.m. And then we're going to see some storms develop as well in the Phoenix area on late Saturday evening. And then coming into Sunday, severe thunderstorms lining the valley in the eastern portions of Arizona on Sunday evening. As we take a look at the temperatures in and across the valley, it's going to be hot, 110 in Bullhead City, 109 in Gila Bend, but cooler in the higher elevations, 83 in Flagstaff and 88 in Show Low, with a strong chance of rain this upcoming week. As we look at the week ahead, it's going to be 95 degrees on Monday, but also a 40% chance of severe thunderstorms, 98 on Tuesday, and about 5 to 10 degrees below average the rest of the week. This is Samir Mala from the Cronkite Weather Center. Back over to you guys.
Despite the heat, Arizona's climate and attractive landscapes bring travelers from all over the country. Short-term vacation rentals throughout the state provide a space for get-togethers, including bachelor and bachelorette parties. But as Jessica Herrera tells us, a new measure could put a damper on the party.
Governor Doug Ducey signed Senate Bill 1168 into law, which offers new tools to local government agencies to manage short-term rentals. Its main goal is to combat so-called party houses.
It does allow cities to establish a registration or a license mechanism so that they can know where these are, and also require insurance for liability purposes on the property, but also establishes that they can be fined.
Property owners could see escalating fees for noisy guests and have their license suspended for a 12-month period. John Hildebrand, vacation rental homeowner, says this is a good thing.
The small amount of percent of the troubled host, the ones that may have a, unruly guest or whatnot, they're just going to end up getting out of the industry completely.
The measure would allow for notification requirements to ensure immediate surrounding neighbors of short-term rentals. A 24-hour emergency contact for property owners will also be mandatory.
I think it's going to make the neighbors a lot happy. I think it's going to make the cities a lot happier. It's going to make good hosts like us extremely happy because we don't get put in a section that we're all bad people.
Proponents of this new law say short-term rental owners, communities, and cities will be more at ease as they work together.
Trying to strike that right balance of being good neighbors while also allowing people the right to manage their property.
Arizona hosts are encouraged to educate guests on being good neighbors and following city noise ordinances. According to the Arizonans for Responsible Tourism Coalition, short-term rentals in Arizona supported more than 75,000 jobs across the state, and travelers helped produce $2.8 billion in income for local residents in 2021. In the newsroom, Jessica Herrera, Cronkite News.
Coming up after the break, we'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. It's been 1 year of college athletes being able to make money on their name and likeness. We take a look at how it's changed college sports.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Welcome. How utterly charming. Are you ready to get it going? How does an English fan come to the Italian Riviera?
A fresh start.
Can I trust you? Are you ready for the show? You can't be afraid to show them what you've got or what you want.
Are we having a party?
Of course, the more the merrier.
I love this place. It's my home now. Trouble in paradise. I can't do it on my own.
This is revenge.
There are consequences.
Be careful.
Nothing like this. Nothing like this. Oh.
You look like you need rescuing.
Don't we all?
What is it that you want?
I just want to let go.
I choose how I live.
There is the passion that I've been looking for. Okay, let's go right up in here and start having some fun.
Such a thrill to be able to do this.
Recreation is the gateway drug to conservation.
How do you create that perfect straight edge?
You can do anything. History is today.
Chasing the American dream.
Experience something personal.
A place of imagination.
I can go anywhere I want to go.
You guys are just gonna love it.
An entertainment experience unlike anything.
There's something for everyone with Passport on the PBS Video app.
Welcome back to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Victoria Samuels. It's been 1 year since college athletes have been able to make money on name, image, and likeness deals, forever changing the economics of college sports. And Cronkite News reporter Ethan Ryder tells us how it might impact recruiting.
The rules used to be simple.
We used to prevent a booster from giving a kid a ride home in the car, and now we're giving the kid a car.
Since name, image, and likeness became official a year ago, things have gotten much more complicated. As athletes score NIL deals, experts say the opportunities will affect recruiting.
Student athletes, of course, are going to try to realize the most amount of money that they're able to. But they also kind of want to probably end up at the schools that make a lot of sense to them.
One company trying to help athletes make the most money is Open Doors. It has formed a marketplace of athletes across college and the pros, with the purpose of helping brands, sponsors, and fans find the athletes they want to form partnerships with. Senior Director of Communications Sam Weber says the practice known as collectives, where one group creates a fund pool at a given school, could drastically change the recruiting picture.
The acknowledgement that the collective at a school exists and that they are actively and compliantly supporting that school's student athletes, that will play a huge role in Power 5 recruiting.
Let's take a look at some data from Open Doors based off of the first year of NIL and see why it may have some impact on recruiting. Compensation by region is super interesting. Southeast has 20% of the total compensation. The mountain region where Arizona is only has 5%. So the total, a little bit more than $1 billion going out to all of these regions. There's only about $60 million in the mountain area. So that could definitely have an impact on where players decide to play. Now also total compensation by conference, you look at these top six, Big 10, Big 12 getting a lot of money. Maybe that's where players want to go play because they know that they're getting more money than some of these other conferences. So that definitely could have an impact on recruiting. Also, looking where the money is coming from, kind of the origin. If you go to men's, there's really a small sliver here that I want to point out, this dark green sliver. Only 2% of it so far is from fans. If you go to the women's side as well, only 1%. So that's something that Weber talked about being something that's definitely going to change in the future of NIL.
And really, it's because the infrastructure isn't there for them yet. And I emphasize yet.
Even with the growing scene of NIL, top recruits will sometimes still make decisions based more on their draft potential. But for other athletes, especially women, NIL can play a key role in what school they choose.
It's not a stretch to say that some of, if not the highest earners, are women's basketball players right now. And that's largely in part due to them being proactive and building very passionate, engaged audiences with their social media profiles.
Recruiting incentives and an unchecked marketplace have made the first year of NIL confusing to sort out, and experts don't expect that to change anytime soon. In Tempe, Ethan Ryder, Cronkite News.
The athlete with the most endorsements on record so far is a running back and track athlete at an HBCU school, Norfolk State. He has signed 69 NIL deals in the last 12 months. The National Women's Soccer League continues to grow by breaking down barriers. In 2020, the first Native American player entered the league. I spoke with a young player who is making history. Madison Hammond is the first Native American in the NWSL. Hammond is Navajo, San Felipe Pueblo, and African American. She debuted in the NWSL in 2020 for OL Reign in Seattle and was traded to Angel City FC. Hammond was born in Phoenix and moved around with her military family. She went to Wake Forest University in North Carolina before signing with the OL Reign in Seattle.
When I suddenly became the first Native American to play in the NWSL, it opened up a whole new world of opportunities.
One of those opportunities is with Nike. Hammond has teamed up with their N7 collection, which raises funding for Native American and indigenous communities. Hammond redesigned fellow Native American athlete Kyrie Irving's Nike Low 4 shoes, using bright colors to highlight what she calls the beauty of Native American culture.
I want to incorporate little bits of my culture and identity into the shoe, and the color scheme that I was kind of thinking of came from this traditional belt. It was from my godparents. It just has these really bright colors that you wouldn't think would go together.
Madison is hoping to use her play on the field and her social media platforms such as Instagram and Twitter to spread awareness about Native American culture and their day-to-day struggles. On Instagram, Hammond makes posts regarding the National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls, Native American History Month, and the San Felipe Pueblo Festival Day. Stars such as tennis legend Billie Jean King and actress Gabrielle Union tweeted about Hammond's debut game in the NWSL. Hammond hopes to continue pushing barriers by being the first Native American on the U.S. women's national team.
If I can even be one semblance of a small positive role model for a young Native kid to realize that they can get away from reservations and they have opportunity, then that would be the biggest success for me.
Hammond is 24 years old and she's been with Angel City FC since March. She said she's had some challenges along the way as a minority, but is working through them with the support of family and friends. That's all for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Kyle.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Next, on Break It Down, we examine if advertising has an influence on discrimination and social issues.